At 24, Francis Ajay is now head of his household, a role he never imagined having to play.
One day we're all together having dinner. Following day she's in jail and we don't know what to do.
2 years ago, his mother, Jackie Pakwa, was convicted of grand larceny and is serving a 7.5-year sentence at a state penitentiary. Ajay had to drop out of school and now spends his days managing his siblings' schedules, trying to keep them in class. His 7-year-old brother Tyler has to catch the school bus by 7:15. His 19-year-old sister Francisca, who has epilepsy, helps where she can. And Francis spends an hour each way taking his 10-year-old sister Brianna on the subway to get her to school.
My mother, the only person that takes care of all these things, she's not around, so now it all falls on me now.
His mother emigrated from Ghana, and Francis says any extended family that once helped them here in the Bronx section of New York City have faded away. When the police came and took your mom, did anyone ever explain what it meant to be incarcerated?
To the children?
Yeah.
No, we've never went down that direct path. We've just kind of been beating around the bush.
What do you mean?
The first few weeks, I don't think I remember telling her, like, Mom's in jail. I don't think I remember saying anything like that. Maybe I probably said something like, she's away.
Why was it so difficult to talk about, to explain?
It was a very hard position to be in. I didn't know what to tell them, honestly. I didn't even know how to go about it.
But soon Ajay and his brothers and sisters will find a little help on a familiar street.
She used a big word, and I never heard of the word, incarcerated. Did you ever hear that word?
Yeah.
And what does it mean, incarcerated?
When you're in jail.
When you're in jail.
Melissa Dino is overseeing a Sesame Workshop production aimed at helping families like Francis's cope. Why is there so little out there about incarceration, about having an incarcerated parent?
You know, I'm not sure why. We were really struck by the lack of resources.
My dad's in jail.
The new 30-minute documentary mixes the fictional with real life. It will not air on the regular Sesame Street show, but will be distributed this week to therapists' offices, schools, and prisons.
Some kids said that I'm going to grow up to be just like my dad.
Who said that?
Some kids from school. They teased me and said that I'm going to go to jail someday, too.
2.3 million Americans are currently behind bars, the largest prison population in the world, which in turn means 1 in every 28 kids in the U.S. has a parent in prison, up from 1 in 125 just 25 years ago. Some of those nearly 3 million minors, including Francis's sister Brianna Amankwa, say they don't like people to know a parent is in prison.
When it just comes up in a conversation, like, I just feel uncomfortable, like really uncomfortable. And like I don't feel like talking, and I don't really feel normal.
Why do you say that? You don't feel normal?
Because it like feels like I'm sick or something.
A lot of children, sometimes they think it's their fault that a parent was incarcerated. They have difficulty, you know, they have guilty feelings, they have all kinds of feelings, they're not sure how to express them. The beauty of a Muppet is they can be any color. They can speak to so many different children. Alex is orange and he's got blue hair, so he doesn't speak to any one particular ethnicity or race. He speaks to all children.
Even though he's colorful, it's in essence colorblind.
Exactly, exactly. We'll just shoot the scene with Alex in the arbor composing the letter to his dad.
Sesame Workshop, which let us peek behind the scenes at its 9-month-long process, has in recent years tackled issues from divorce to deployment to death.
They're not alive anymore.
I feel so
Ashamed?
Yeah.
And Sesame recognized that incarceration was an issue that affected kids too. More than 50% of people behind bars have a child under 18.
We can talk to Daddy and see him, but we're not allowed to touch him.
I noticed in that animation, you see the mom squeezing her kid's hand a little tighter, saying it's going to be okay. You explain the loud sounds you hear when the bars close.
Absolutely.
You explain all of the waiting.
You imagine a young child walking up to these buildings and the barbed wire and the guards and the guns and the security process, and it's so intimidating and so scary.
We passed through loud gates that open and close behind us.
Did you know what to expect when you went into prison?
Not really. I went like through security and like they put this kind of an invisible ink on my hand with this number on it. So then like we walk through these metal gates.
Brianna, a fan of anything Sesame, says it can all be a little disorienting. Her brother believes it's just as tough on the caretaker, no matter the age.
It's not simple at all, you know, because there's different situations popping up every day. Today, maybe you need to tell them why she's not around, but tomorrow you have to tell them why there's no food.
I miss him so much, it hurts inside.
So Sesame Street, in its simple, familiar way, is using imaginary characters to explore and explain what was once unimaginable.
You're not